Are you here? It's an essay by Paul Leslie on Scott Adams, author, cartoonist, political commentator, T-shirt icon, and host of Real Coffee with Scott Adams. This piece appears in written form in Right Revolution News. And it happens now. Go.
Sipping Coffee with America's Internet Dad, Scott Adams. You never can tell, unless you're Scott Adams. He knew what he would be early on. He put it this way in an interview we did in November 2024.
And so at the age of 6, I decided to be a famous cartoonist. Now, what surprised me was when it didn't work out right away.
But it was his previous jobs at Crocker National Bank and the Pacific Bell Phone Company that shaped him. The grind and absurdities of corporate life inspired Dilbert, a comic strip where the mundane became brilliantly relatable and humorous. As Edward M. Elvold wrote in the Kansas City Star, Dilbert is a hero to thousands. Cultural commentator and fitness advocate Wyatt Torosian captures the essence of Scott Adams' influence. The mind behind Dilbert has lampooned office life for over 3 decades with the foresight, like Trump, that the culture of the business world would become synonymous with American life, in all of its absurdities and opportunities. It's difficult to imagine having coffee in the morning with anyone else. Countless people got a morning dopamine hit by pairing their morning mug with the funny papers. People saw themselves in Dilbert and coped with their own pointy-haired boss. They still do. Scott Adams valued the art of sharing ideas and started connecting with audiences through Periscope. This evolved into Real Coffee with Scott Adams, a daily live stream and podcast going out consistently every day of the year. The topics addressed are numerous and limitless. Along with interesting takes on current events, Adams shows those in the audience that there may be new ways of looking at things. It's not just about his take, but also how you may ponder things in new ways. Rapper, author, and podcaster Zuby put it this way: Scott Adams challenges people to question their own beliefs and to see life from different angles. That's a great thing because we can never have too many critical thinkers in an increasingly complicated and polarized world. I concur. Scott Adams is a man who looks at the human mind as an incredible tool that is frequently not used to full potential. He understands how human beings can flourish, but also inherent weaknesses and traps. He presents information and ideas unlike other speakers. As a broadcaster, there's almost nobody I can compare him to. Well, except for one radio legend. I'll let Moo Moo House author and walking proponent Robert McCready give his take. Scott Adams fills the gap left by Rush Limbaugh because he tells the audience how the media is manipulating viewers and readers. Adams talks off mic to his audience of live streamers who send him chats, the way Limbaugh talked off mic to Snerdley. The show feels like Limbaugh's. Both shows began in Northern California. They predict what a politician will do based on cues, subtle signals, scoops that regular people don't get. It feels like a miracle that we've had either of them in the world. I happen to feel the same way as Robert. The shows feel related, and both are a classroom in independent thought and legacy media abandonment. Most people don't think of cartoonists as having a big impact on politics and the culture at large. When I think of Scott Adams' influence, it seems unbelievable. Mark Twain's "Truth is stranger than fiction" quote comes to mind. I was able to ask ghostwriter and Scott Adams collaborator Joshua Lisec about Adams. Listen to what he had to say.
I will also say that in addition to his cultural contributions, his one-of-a-kind cultural contributions in the form of entertainment, satire, humor for 40 years, he also is the most influential personal development author of all time, and it's not even close. Every single self-help book samples, sources, or otherwise steals Scott Adams' original content from his various books going back into the 1990s, both business, career, and personal life, self-help. There has been no other voice as impactful as his across the generations. And that's not even to mention the fact that he was the first celebrity to say anything positive about Donald Trump back in 2015. And it cost him likely multiple fortunes upon fortunes. Now, this is a man who is willing to share what he thinks and take the heat regardless, as he's done multiple times, being quote unquote canceled for it. He's a legend in his time. We all know him as the internet dad. And so that makes all of us his fans sort of internet siblings. He created a global family, not just like a set of followers or community, but a global family. And of course, he made it okay for good, smart people to say positive things about Donald Trump in public. Donald Trump is not president without Scott Adams. Not the 35th president, not the 47th president. The first person, in my opinion, that the MAGA movement has to thank for MAGA having power is Scott Adams.
As you may be realizing, Scott Adams didn't just create Dilbert or master live streaming. He reshaped how people think about politics, culture, and everything else. He's resonated with thinkers like Owen Gregorian, a dedicated follower and cohort who posts articles and opinion pieces aligning with Adams' ideas on persuasion and politics. As Owen Gregorian observes, Scott changed how America views politics and even the nature of reality. Time and again, he has framed people and events with messaging that ends up spreading everywhere. His article, Clown Genius, very well may have springboarded Trump into winning his first term as president. His books and live streams have helped countless people change their lives for the better. America will never fully realize how much Scott Adams influenced and improved our country. Like so many of his daily listeners, news of Scott's cancer diagnosis came as a shock. Although it made me sad, my primary feelings quickly shifted to admiration. Scott keeps the show going, and as normally as possible, he has that fighting spirit embodied by so many Americans. Getting a personal phone call from President Trump undoubtedly did his heart good. It certainly did mine and so many others. Adams didn't share all of the conversation. He has too much class for that. I join President Trump, so many Americans, and people around the world in my appreciation of Scott Adams. As the smart people in this article expressed, Scott Adams is an American original. People like Megyn Kelly have called Scott Adams a Trump whisperer and applauded him for being a frank communicator. He's been praised by the very best of them, from Ann Coulter to Monica Crowley. It's no surprise to his fans when someone like President Trump expresses his clear respect and veneration, because so many people have been personally affected by something that Scott Adams said. For that person who loses weight, or decides to talk to an attractive stranger, or persuades their boss to give them a raise, or even just to stand a bit taller, Scott is somehow more than a star, he's a friend. He never lectures his viewers and listeners. As he once told Carmine Gallo for Forbes.com, "Don't take my advice, I'm offering information." Scott Adams has created an incredible body of useful work and entertainment that he continues to add to. Americans and people around the world have been changed for the better. Scott Adams finds purpose in making a difference in others' lives. One moment from our interview sticks with me.
If you're having a bad day that's just unfixable, there's nothing you can do about your own situation, at least today. Tomorrow maybe it's a new day, but right now you're just in a funk. I'll just sit there and say, all right, who can I delight? It works every time. If you make somebody's day and you're useful and they just simply appreciate you, you're good all day. It'll turn any day around. And that's being selfish. That's just fixing your own mood, being useful.
With such a legacy that includes humor, self-help, and political influence, it's no stretch to envision Scott Adams as a candidate for the Presidential Medal of Freedom, an honor befitting a man who continues to redefine how we think, communicate, and accomplish. I think it's possible. But either way, So many of us will get up in the morning and have our mug of coffee. We'll sip to Scott.